Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, we're back from HomeDadCon. Man,
Guess who's back? Back again. That's right. It's
stay at
such a
home
good
dads are
time.
back. We found some
Tell a friend.
friends.
We made some friends. Yeah,
We made
nice,
some
nice,
friends. We
nice.
got lots of friends. They're dad friends. We've got lots of friends. We wear cargo pants. Ooh, ooh.
No, don't do that again. What are you
Okay,
doing?
fine,
This isn't
fine.
a disco. Disco is dead.
Oh shoot. Anyway,
Nonetheless,
yeah,
happy to be home, but really had a good time. Man, I had a good time.
it was a good time. Lots of people. Oh my goodness. Lots of new faces, lots of reconnecting with those we've known and yeah, man, just a lot. Lot,
Hmm.
lot, 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 lot. It was good. It was good. I will say this. So just to kind of like how I'm feeling after everything and being back. I was driving home from work today and I was just thinking, man, like there just seems to be like a much stronger buzz for like the convention, for like where we're going to be going next year. And also, too, just this idea that how do we connect with other dads in other areas, like especially like at home dads who are in different platforms.
Hmm.
I feel like that kind of got launched right before the convention, but I feel like that train is still steaming down the track. So, which is exciting because I think that there's a lot of guys that are just like, "Hey, let me on board." Like I'm all for that. Like
Hmm.
I didn't even know that existed. And so, um, I'm really excited for what's coming, what's on the horizon, what we're headed towards. So,
Yep, we had almost a quarter of the attendees were new people, new members. That was awesome. I met so many people that I mean, you could just tell this was their first time too, and
yep,
they just had that look, that starstruck. Oh my god, this is amazing. But just the one of the things that we really got into at one point on one of the nights was the rapport that you have with other at-home dads. Because if
yeah,
you meet another person at this convention, you know one that they are an at-home dad. Second, you know that they're a committed at-home dad because otherwise, why would they go to a convention, right? So
right,
that immediately alleviates a lot of the tension or the issues you might have. I mean, we talk about the friendship deficit, and there are books and studies going on about that and how difficult it is to make a friend at any age, really, but especially after you hit like 20-ish.
yeah,
Adult friends are hard to make, and here it was just like immediately,
yep. And that's what I
hey,
pointed
how
out
many
at the
kids do you
first.
have? What's going on? Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's what I pointed out at the first timers meeting when we sat down. We had everybody there and we were talking with them. And I just said to the guys, I said, you know, this, what I'm about to talk to you guys about, my hope is at the end of it, like the anxiety that I know you're feeling. Someone's gonna call you out on it, like that I know you're feeling. My whole hope is that it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
That you understand. And so like I said, like let's talk about a couple of things. Like first off, it's like you will not have to tell anybody or say to anybody, "Hey, what do you do?" Because
Mm-hmm.
we're all doing the same thing. And
Right.
immediately like you could just see people, like you could just see the guys like, oh man, that's nice. And then I said, the other thing is I was like, you know a lot of us are older dads, or we're over the age of 30 even, and we don't have a lot of dad friends, or and maybe
Mm-hmm.
we've lost some of our other friends. And I'm like, here you're getting a second chance at meeting new friends, which is
Mm-hmm.
so unheard of in
Yeah.
in the world. And I told him a bunch of other different things, and then just kind of like ended the meeting. And there was other parts to it, but those were the two main things that we talked about. And it was so funny because like I remember sitting think I just went and sat down and had a drink or something. It was just chilling. I had a bunch of guys come up and they were just like, man, as soon as you said I don't have to tell anybody or like ask anybody like what you do, he's like the weight that was lifted off of me just
Mhm.
immense. And the
Awesome.
fact that I'm going to get the opportunity to like meet new people and not feel super nervous about it because we all have a lot in common is just that much more exciting. And I'm like, yes, like that is so great to hear. And you
That's
saw
right.
it like throughout the whole weekend. You just kept seeing these guys like hanging out and connecting. And I was
And
so excited.
just like, welcome to the club.
Right?
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, this is
Welcome to
just
the family.
how, right, right. And I know that feeling. I remember that feeling. I still get that feeling. And
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of people throughout this year, and we'll be interviewing more, and members that are like members for the volunteer of the month and things like that. And so many times it comes back to, because I look for a quote about the person from
Yeah.
someone else, you know, either who they're doing work with or who they're volunteering with, or even their friends. And it's happened so many times, like, oh yeah, I know that guy, we met at this convention this many years ago, and it was just like we were best friends.
Yeah.
And I've had that connection so often with people. It's been just, yeah, we've got so much in common, or just they're so passionate about this life and this job and their
Yeah.
kids and their family and their partners, and so many things going on, and they're so excited. And I love that excitement, obviously,
Yeah.
for them to just be like, yes, this is where I was meant to be. And the connections that you make, I mean, these are connections of friends that you will have for probably the rest of your life.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
these are not like friends when you're a kid. It's a completely different makeup, and you put a lot more effort into yourself by this point, and it shows in your friends that you pick up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like you see, like the guys, like Grady, for instance, this year going around and going and meet, hanging out with different guys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got Jeremy coming here to the house next weekend because there's a wedding, and so they're staying here, and I get to take him out to the brewery on the day of the anniversary of the brewery out there. So that's going to be exciting. But just that idea that
Neat.
like you can go places and like connect and meet with these guys and do stuff with
Mm-hmm.
them. I mean, or go on a trip. Or my favorite thing, this is the one thing that I've always told people. I'm like, I'm most excited for when my kids actually go off into the world because I can almost 100% say wherever they go, I'm going to know at least another dad that lives close by that if they're ever in a
Mm-hmm.
pickle and I can't get there in time, some other dad who I know will be there to be able to be, I can call up and say, hey, like my kid's in a jam. Can you go help type of deal?
Mm-hmm.
And to know that that's something that can happen. Like to me, that is probably one of the biggest gold star things about this group of guys that I
Yeah.
love to brag about to people because most people don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys like Al Watts, for instance, who, sends his kid down here to UC and that's a scary thing to do. And I'm like, hey man, I'm here. Like Miles needs anything, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And just that ability. It's like, here's my phone number. You may never use it, but here it is, just in
Yeah.
case, like that kind of
Yeah.
deal. Like, so that is the community that is built there. And it's so neat to also see the way that people outside of the organization see that going on. Like Melissa Davidson coming to the convention, seeing everything that's going on, and just to see the emotion and overwhelmingness of her watching all of these dads connect and getting
Right.
to talk with her about it. She was so excited. It was like she was like a giddy little schoolgirl type situation and things. Like I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had a couple of people that did a presentation on imposter syndrome, and they complimented us. Basically, they said,
Mm,
this is the kind of community that we need going. That we have times and places, and they were in one of the support groups as well, where we can sit down and talk
yeah.
and say things that are on, and not like big stuff like mine necessarily, but just the day-to-day of this job, the concern, like you just mentioned, of, hey, my kids are going to college. I don't know, what's going to happen. And I'm worried, or, I'm frustrated because they won't go where I want them to go, or whatever it is. But all of those things, we have nobody to talk about in our life. And to the ability to meet a man, and a man that is, as I hate to use these words, but a manly man. It's like, this guy's doing these things. He's throw axes, and he does all these things. He drinks more beer than I do. And yet he told me that he was concerned about his kid going to college, or he was scared that his kid would do this or that, or whatever those emotions are, to say, yeah, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And they were astounded. And this is the second year in a row that I've heard from people outside of the organization, even the ones that came in and said, we were going to put a part of our presentation about, building a community and being open and vulnerable with people. And we had to take that out because it doesn't apply to you. You already know how to do this, right? And then the organization really does. The convention's really good at that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's the thing. The same thing with when I talked to like Sue, I can't think of Sue's last name, from Turf Valley. And
Hamilton, maybe
something like that. I can't remember.
Don't quote me.
Yep, that's okay.
Go ahead.
But just the conversation that I have with her, where she's just watching what's going on, and just how like she's seeing what's going on in real life, and then kind of applying that and talking about how things are going in like Turf Valley. And you were talking about being starstruck or whatever, but it was so unique to like have those guys around for these different scenes. And it was so much fun to like have guys get involved with that. And I can't wait to see that episode, because I got to be there for like a filming with Shannon and Vince and Matt Strain's in there, and there's like a whole line of guys like in one of the breakout rooms, like walking up, and just the conversation that takes place is just comical. And to watch Shannon just mess up a bunch of times trying to figure out his lines, and then watch Mick get up. And the best part, watching Mick get upset about it was hysterical. Like I was like, we need that in there. Like that needs to be the B clip right there. Mick's like, let me just write it down for you. Here,
he nudges me. He goes, "Hang on, I got to get out of line. I speak Shannon, so I need to do this in a way where he can understand and will remember it and do his lines right." And it was really amazing, because honestly, I kind of just assumed that he'd be really good at memorizing lines and reciting them. I don't know. I just. And it has nothing to do with what I know.
Sorry, Shannon, we put you on a pedestal there, buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, as a writer, that's not what you do.
No,
you don't talk at all. You're writing, and it's a completely different world. And I was just like, I wonder if he's nervous, or if something's going on. And like you said, Mick was like, nah, it's just where he's at. Hang on a second, let me write him a note, and boom, fixed it almost immediately. And it was amazing, because Mick is the best handler ever.
Oh,
Mick
he's great.
Like, I let me take care of everything. And it was amazing to see him in action. So.
Yeah, it was so much fun just to see all those different parts. And too, he got it like by the end, like they did a few takes, and he finally like got into a groove and was able to figure it out. And the same goes for the scene that I shot with JHG and Al Watts and Sergio, like outside of Vince's room. I mean, we did that scene like 10 times over, and we had done it a few times prior before Vince even got up there, because we were just working with the cameraman on how we were going to do some of it. And it was just so funny because I had to say basically one line, and then after that it was like aggressively grab him and pull him out of the hotel room. But I was thinking about it yesterday. So here's the thing. Vince, he was in Wonder Woman 1984. He was the guy who stole the cab from Diana, which I was telling Corey about that. And I said, this is the scene. It's like 20 minutes into the movie, and David McMillan's car is in the background in that scene as well. And she's like, oh, that's hilarious. And I said, yeah, I was like, and if I had known, like, I didn't find that information out until after we filmed it, but I was like, man, I'd have been like, this is for Diane, and like just grab him and pull him out. or get your own cab next time and like pull him out, like something crazy along those lines. I was like, man, I could have delivered some really funny ones along with that if I had known that. But still, it was
Maybe
a blast.
You got your own cab.
Yeah. This is from Wonder Woman. But no, I mean, it was just so much fun to do all that. And that was honestly, that was just a completely different sort of like off the wall thing from what typically goes on during the convention, but it worked really well, like in the timing of being able to go do it. And
Mhm.
it was
And I
lots of fun.
highly recommend anyone that hasn't to go ahead and watch that series. Turf Valley on YouTube. They have won a
Yes.
ton of awards. If you've listened to the show, you've heard about them before, but it's really cool and funny. And the things that they show about our life that really you don't expect to see anywhere. You really don't. I mean, the stay-at-home dads that we see are good. They're fine, but they just don't get into, they're just kind of like an extra. It's like
Yeah.
Doc McStuffin's dad.
Right.
Yeah, he was a stay-at-home dad, but that's all we know. He cooks sometimes in the show, and that's it. But it was her show, and that makes sense. But being able to see that it's about us. It's
Yeah.
about us and how we relate, and some funny things and some touching things that happen. It's
I had
cool.
totally forgotten about the line where it was like, "Oh, hey, that must be a sad," and like he doesn't look sad. And like I had totally forgotten how that clip
Yeah.
like went down. Like when they played it during their presentation, I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah!" Like that is by far one of like the funniest like scenes, like right off the bat, that just kind of pulls
Mm-hmm.
you, and you're like, "Oh, okay, they get it. Like this is
Yeah.
great." So yeah, I that was that whole was sort of like the cherry on top for what took place this weekend. But there's so many other things to really talk about, and I don't want to get too ahead of us. I feel like that's a good highlight reel of things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna cut this up into 2 episodes, by the way, because we can't cover this all in one episode.
Right. No.
But let's jump back to the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, just a little sliver of things. Monday, Marcel Dom just shows up and he's like, "I'm at the hotel," like, and it's just him.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him for coming in early, because
Mm-mm.
jet lag from coming halfway across the world, like I'd want a day too to just be like, I ain't doing jack diddly except for
Right.
laying in this bed and enjoying the silence. Like,
Yep. He said
so
he gets adjusted, of course, but he says, I still get up very early. I'm still up at 4 or 5 in the morning and just kind of wait for other people to wake up. And I
yeah,
think that's really fine, because you're looking at a dad convention. And if
right.
there's one thing that dads are somewhat famous for, it's getting up too early in the morning.
Yes.
And like, well, I was up at 5 a.m. Well, yeah, that's cool. You fell asleep on the couch at 3, but sure, you were you got up early and made your 10 hours of daytime, and then fell asleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it was really fun to see him. I like him so much, and he comes so far to be a part of it.
Yeah.
He really it makes my day seeing him. It really does.
I love that he comes in all the way from the Netherlands, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just great to be able to talk with him and just connect with him. The one thing that's really funny, and this is like kind of been like this unspoken tradition that he's brought in, is he brings me a bottle of beer, a Belgian beer. Like I was sitting there in the main room and I was just minding my own business, and he walks up and he just like taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Hey Brock, I brought this for you." And I'm like, "What?" Like, that's so cool. Like thank you.
Yeah.
I just was enjoy his company, and that was a fun little thing. But yeah, that's kind of become a tradition. I was like, it's like, I need to get you some more NFL gear, because that's the other thing he loves,
Mm-hmm.
because he can't really get it over there. So that's one of the things that kind of goes back and forth. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
We
Marcel came in there. Yeah,
we originally traded soccer scarves
yes,
in Orlando, and that was the
yeah,
first time I met him. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'll bring him an Atlanta United scarf, because they're the best team in the world, and they were at the time.
at the time, yeah,
And it was great. It was really cool. And I'm like, oh my god, I told Marnie, I'm like, no, he's from the Netherlands. He's like, literally, that's where he lives all the time. And she was like, oh
yeah,
my god, I didn't know y'all were international. And I'm like, well, I mean, maybe like 3 people international, but still, it counts. We're counting
yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, after I got back here, there were so many different people like, I wish you would do it in like internationally, come like, because there were so many other people are like, I live here and this would be great. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
there's always that. There's
that's a
always
lot
that.
of work. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work to make that happen. So, but yeah,
Well,
so that was Monday for there.
I was
Um,
going to go in on Monday, actually, but ended up going on Tuesday. Monday, the COVID vaccine came out. And I said, well, I'm just going to get that in the morning, since it's the new booster or whatever. Got that in my flu, just so I make sure I'd have it, and was
yep.
fortunate to be able to get that timing. And then, because I didn't leave early, things started happening through the day, and I
Of
just didn't
course.
even. Yeah, right. I'm like, you should have just left. Why did you
Yep.
stay? And I'm like, it was worth it. I felt because I felt a lot better having it. But yeah, I didn't even get in until Tuesday, and that
Okay.
was great too. That was fine.
Yeah, that
Um,
works.
yeah, it worked out for me. I had a huge panic attack, had a lot of anxiety being in the city, and I didn't have a room until later that night with Eric and Paul Gordon, Eric Schoberg and Paul Gordon. I said
Right.
that before. I ended up getting a room that day, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to get a room and put all my stuff in away and not have to stress, not have any anxiety, and it made my day much better. And honestly, having a day alone in a
Yeah.
hotel room, I mean, I miss, going out and hanging out, but I turned the AC down to like 4 and just lay there in the bed and just watched like whatever war movie was on. I watched the Expendables,
Oh,
and
there you go.
it wasn't even the first one. I think it was the third one, but it was definitely, they didn't get better. They didn't get
No,
better as they
no,
went
they
on,
don't.
right? And I'm watching, I'm like, wow, why did they make this? Is this was this profitable for anybody? But it was really nice because I know that's something that I wouldn't watch at home,
Sure.
and I definitely wouldn't have the time to just sit there and watch a movie that long. And I recognize that I don't watch cable TV or any TV. We stream everything now.
Right.
And the amount of commercials
Oh,
is ridiculous.
it is
And
insane.
I'm glad I don't watch cable because I could not imagine. I'm like, what? No, come on. It's been like 7 minutes, and now you have 3 minutes of
Well, that's
commercials.
like
But
even when you're watching a show like on Hulu or Peacock or whatever, like we just
yeah.
basically we mute all the commercials
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so annoying, and I'm tired of like all of the like it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like stop. So yeah, so I'm right there
Mumbo
with you.
jumbo.
Yeah, mumbo jumbo.
My
So
high point for Tuesday, though, I'm going to
yeah,
cover this before
Tuesday.
we move on,
Yeah, yeah.
is we had very nicely made beer steins
I love
with
this
dads
story, by the
don't
way. Yeah.
babysit on them, and they weren't going to make it until late Thursday, and it was really going to put, I think it was Thursday or even Friday, but it was going to put a hamper on us giving that out in a swag bag.
And not all heroes
And
wear capes, but
right, but they can fly.
they can fly.
Evidently. Yeah. So Mick Fryermuth and Shannon Carpenter were going to bring him in. They picked him up, and they got in touch with Daniel Wilkerson, who has his own plane, a little Cessna. He was flying in. He
We're gonna
stopped, I
have him
think
on
it
the
was
show
in
at some
St.
point too.
Louis. I think it was St. Louis they met up, but he got the glasses and flew them into Milwaukee. And I met him and went to see his plane, and I picked up Ed as well, Ed Lovezzo, and love you, Ed. You're my favorite. Got him, and I was like, wait, you flew in? He's like, yeah, it's, and I'm like, oh, okay. And he said, you just go to this. It's called Jet Inn, which is one of the places,
Yep.
and it was beautiful. And I did not belong there, and I was not going into that building willingly.
And
As
you
for like,
totally should have.
I'm right. I would have.
Daniel's
I
like,
should
why
have.
didn't you go in there, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have
It's like,
just
it's
chilled
fine. You could have
out.
come in. I'm like, no, they're gonna arrest me.
Got a massage and a $9,000 massage chair,
Right.
and
It was amazing. But I went around and he brought us inside, and we're looking at this beautiful plane.
yeah,
And he comes over and he's telling us about it. And it's got the turboprops and how they can switch and slow it down real fast. It's got the big silver chrome muffler coming out of it. The wingtips are turned up like little jet, jets should have. And I'm like, oh my God, man, that's beautiful. And he said, yeah, that's a great plane. He told us all about it, how fast it was. And he goes, this is amazing. And it's one of the fastest planes you can get at that level. They got a faster one out now, but it's the same model, just a 460 instead of a 440 or whatever. But that's not my plane. I'm like, what?
this is a total friend thing, by the way.
Dude. And so he steps back a little bit because you see the blue one just past it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. And he goes, see, there you go. Now that's and he told us all about that one. And I'm like, all right, that's a nice plane, And he said, yeah, it's kind of pricey, but it's this and this. That's not mine either. I'm like, dude, show us your plane before we say anything else. He got me twice. So you get me 3 times. But he flies this little, I think it was a Cessna, but it's I didn't even get to see it because I only see the tail. It was
It's so far down the way. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But it was still amazing. It was such a cool thing to be there and to kind of get behind the scenes. I love the behind the scenes parts of life, So it was hilarious and I fell for it, but it was really funny too. So
he's a cool dude for sure. I was talking with him at the beer share, and he was showing me all these pictures of him flying and pictures of his kids like driving their semi trucks and tractors and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, here's my daily driver, and it's this freaking international semi truck. And I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck, dude? And he's talking about how like his kid wants him to get like this other semi truck, and they do rodeo and all this. I'm like, dude, okay, listen. I was like, yes, you have a very interesting life that is way outside of the box for most stay-at-home dads.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like we need to get you on the show. You would just be fun to talk to and just
Yeah.
share a lot of, because he talks about it a lot at Dad Lounge, but just to be able to get some more like context into it, I think
Mm-hmm.
will be fun. So I'm gonna try to get that scheduled with him here in the next month or so, because
And
he's just a fun dude.
he's a Southern boy, so he tells a good story.
He
He
does tell a
really
good
does. I
story.
mean, he's got the flow to it, and he's got the details down, and you can tell he's intelligent, and he's got that wit to it that'll
Uh-huh.
lead you right off a cliff. I did it twice.
Yep. Yeah. I was gonna say
That's not my plane. You jerk. Which plane
he
is yours?
tells
Stop it.
he tells a good whopper, that's for sure. So yeah, so Tuesday for me was driving up. I actually stopped in Chicago to pick up all of the like projectors and screens and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I was like, I called Keith the night before and I said, I'm not driving anybody up now because unfortunately, with the news of Patrick Wilburn's father passing, and um, Billy had to change some things up on what he was doing. I was like, well, I'm just going solo. So I've got plenty of room in my car.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll just stop at the tool bank and I'll pick everything up. So went and picked everything up. Totally fine. Made it up to Milwaukee, picked up Joe at the airport, and got situated in the hotel room. Man, our hotel room was just a revolving door of people. I swear, like it's like had so it was me and Charlie. It was Charlie and I's room, and we had
Mm-hmm.
Joe stay there one night. We had Jaron Williams staying there one night. Or actually, Joe stayed a couple of nights. Jaron stayed there a couple nights. Then those guys left. Then it was just Charlie and I for a couple of nights, and then Billy for a night. So like it was just all kinds of. I mean, I brought the air mattresses. They worked really well.
Yeah.
And so it was not a big deal to make that happen. Although Charlie and I were like, next year it's just the two of us.
Uh,
I was
and
like,
and I wish Charlie the best of luck in receiving that, because you're not gonna you're gonna cave. Somebody's
we
gonna be like,
probably
oh
will.
man, I don't have a room, and
We
you're gonna be
probably
like,
will.
oh come on, with just one night.
We got big
Yep.
hearts, yeah.
That's right. And Charlie
That's
be
how
like,
it
okay,
works.
one night, and then it'll
One
be the
night.
whole time. Yep.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so we
yeah.
get up there and get situated, and then Joe and I take off for Chicago, and it of course, in true Chicago fashion, it rains when it's not supposed to rain. Like, the forecast is like, no, it's not going to rain, and then like it rains, and not only does it
Mhm.
rain, but it also causes a rain delay for the Cubs Pirates game for like an hour and a half. And but we turned a frown upside down. I was like, this gives us more time to drink beer and eat food. I'm happy. Like we
I was
could
gonna say,
and we
yeah,
can just walk around Wrigley Field and just enjoy like really getting to experience like the stadium and all that it has. And it was a lot of fun. And our seats were amazing. Oh my gosh.
good.
I mean, it was great. We actually near the end of the game had a foul ball land like 2 rows in front of us. It was like if the guy hadn't batted it down, it had been right in my hand afterwards. So but it was fun. Like uh we got to see a grand slam, like home run, which
Nice.
was
Yeah.
wild.
I actually know what that
Um,
is.
yeah. And so yeah, we had a good time. The thing with it was because it went so late, which by the way, we also walked there. We parked at Victor Aragon's house from the Geek Dads.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives like 2 miles from there. So it was a nice, easy 2 mile walk. And we walked back because we actually can walk faster than a car can go.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So
traffic and everything.
yeah, that whole saying, like when you're in traffic, you're like, I could walk faster than we're moving right
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah, we proved that correct.
In fact,
That's
you could.
yes, we
Yeah.
totally could. But we ended up not getting back to the hotel in Milwaukee till 1:30 in the morning.
Mhm. And that was Tuesday in our normal night to record. And I had asked earlier, you think we want to do
Yeah.
a podcast? And I'm pretty sure we were like, well, we might be able to.
We
Let's see
might
how
be
the
able
night.
to.
We might be able to squeeze one in. Man,
Yeah.
ain't no way.
Nah.
Ain't no way. I went over to the Vanguard, which is a pretty cool beer place, and had pretty good food, brats and fries and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, they went to a lot of places that day. And then that evening at the Vanguard in 1804, which is also another place, got together with a Milky 1840. Okay, yeah. 1840. But got together with the Milwaukee Dads group.
Nice.
So I had a couple of guys from there. So I think it was like 5, but still, it doubled our numbers at one point. So yeah, it was cool.
I have to say, I met one of the Milwaukee Dads. He was probably, like, aside from like the guys that I do know, one of my favorite guys to actually get to talk to was Josh Mosley. Oh my gosh, that dude is hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, he was so much fun. And then I got to kind of hang out with him a little bit in the dad lounge last night, and he just has so much like facial reaction to things. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool, man, that you got to hang out with them. I was bummed. I was hoping that, we would have got back sooner so that we could have, maybe just drove to 1840, because
maybe
the way
you
that
had a great time. It was a great game. It was a great event, and I'm really happy that you got to do that, because that was, I feel like, not necessarily a bucket list thing like that kind of thing, but that was definitely on there. Yeah, these things I'd like to do. So that was cool.
And I got my
what a great guy.
Yeah, and I got my MLB ballpark passport stamped as well. So that was another
nice,
cool part to it. So that was my first like official, like, take it to the stadium and get it stamped thing. So that was cool. So that was Tuesday. It was just a lot of fun. We had a great time. Kind of slept in a little bit on Wednesday. I didn't get to sleep till like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just kind of on a high, and it took a little bit, but finally fell asleep. And I woke up like I think I woke up at like 7 or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm awake. Like, this sucks. Like, I guess I'll take a nap later on in the day. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But went downstairs and had breakfast with the guys that were there, and everybody was kind of getting ready to do their thing for Wednesday. And so for a lot of the guys, like, they were just kind of chilling out because they were going to do the beer or the brewery hop, which I didn't go on that. I opted to just spend a day by myself in the city, which I have not done something like that in many years. And it was great. It was so nice. Like, I tried to go to the Harley Davidson Museum, and my anxiety shot through the roof when I walked there. I don't know. I was dealing with a lot. And so I just took some pictures outside, walked through the gift shop. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I could not, like, I didn't have any joy in being there at all, which sucked. As cool as it was to be there, I kind of felt like an outsider, honestly. Like, there were a lot of, like, Harley-esque people there, and you're like, that don't look like any of you.
Not enough leather in my wardrobe to remain in this building.
Well, I'm just like, I felt like the new kid on the block, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get the hell out of here, because, like, this isn't working at all. And I went to the National Bobblehead Museum, which I felt very much in my play. Like, I felt very much in my happy place. And that was a lot of fun. And I spent, a good couple of hours just walking through there and checking out all these different, like, characters. And they have so many. I feel like we need a bobblehead for, like, the National At Home Dad Network. Like, I got to figure that one out, but I think that would be a really cool thing to make up somehow. Just like a dad, with like a diaper bag, like that,
cargo shorts.
Yeah, kid hanging on by the ankle, and, like, trying to push a stroller type of deal. Whatever, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna work on it, because I think that would be hilarious. But it was just neat to go there and just experience that. And then I just walked around. Like, I was gonna take the scooter that I had been riding around, and I just like, screw it, like, I'm just gonna walk. And walked around, came through. I didn't realize that I was walking through like the historical district until I saw like the sign for it. And like I started seeing buildings that were built like in like 1830 and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And so I had my own photo walking tour. Like we didn't go over there like during the walking tour. So it was awesome to be over there and just see all that.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful city, and the architecture is
gorgeous,
breathtaking. It's amazing, and the river and the bridges, especially at night, and just everything about it is so pretty. Really pretty.
Yeah,
well, I spent my day, most of the day, actually going back and forth to the airport.
I know you were like the unofficial Uber.
I overcommitted. Yep, I overcommitted, and that's fine. That's what I do. And I mean, I would pick somebody up and I'd take them back to the hotel and we'd talk and we'd have fun and it'd be encouraging, and I'd drop them off and just have enough time to get back over to the airport. It was just that kind of like hourly thing, and it was fine. It was really, like I said, it was really fun just to see the people, to pick them up, to welcome them. And just, I don't know, I felt really good doing all of that. It really made me happy to do it. And then other than that, I mean, it was you and me at Yuli's Tobacco.
Oh my gosh, that was
the
awesome.
Next time I stopped doing anything, I was run all day long until about that time. And I called them ahead and I asked them, because this is my favorite cigar, and it's a triple Maduro Camacho, which Maduro is a darker tobacco and it's a kind of a harsher tobacco. And being that it's a triple, that means every part of the wrap, the filler, and everything is all Maduro. So it's a thick, heavy one. And honestly, with the larger size of them, I can't walk really after I'm done with that thing. There's so much nicotine in it, and I just get high. I mean, I just get high. I'm high. There's no other way to put it. I'm obviously not literally high, but it really feels like I wouldn't drive.
It's the euphoria of it all, basically.
It really is. The nicotine just tears through me, and it was glorious. They have a beautiful shop. They're really knowledgeable. They're really welcoming. You know, they want to help you in whatever way you need. The seating area is a little smaller, but honestly, in the middle of a big city like that, it's amazing they've got that much space.
The locals that are in there were great too. Like they were not off-putting at all. Like that was the thing for me. Like I was like, oh, locals who actually enjoy talking to visitors. This is great.
Yeah, it was good. And then they got the little back door over to the bar.
Which, by the way, man, Wisconsin, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bag on you for a bit, but I don't know what those old fashions that y'all, or whatever you call that drink.
Don't start a fight now. Don't start a fight,
dude. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Like that is the weirdest cocktail ever. It's it's so unique. It's so like it's fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's enjoyable. But my brain's like the whole time is like, this isn't an old fashioned. Like the whole time, I'm like, I don't know what this is. Imposter, but it's good. It just different.
If you don't like it, you just go home. Get it yourself.
I did go
get out
home.
of the state.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in this fight at all, or in this hunt. I don't mind. Yeah, I don't drink anyway. So
I will just say this: it was fun. The adventure of trying new things, like, and that's the whole point I love about going to the convention, is that you get to experience these things that you otherwise wouldn't in your own area,
and experience people. And we will not name names here, but there was an individual that was with us at the cigar shop who started playing bar dice for shots.
Oh my god!
At the next, and he comes back and he was gone. I'm like, did you go to the bathroom? He goes, no, man, I just won like 3 shots over here for bar dice, and I don't even know what bar dice is. So I'm like, all right, what? And he's like, yeah, these guys thought I couldn't play, man. I was in a pool hall at the age of 6, and he just goes on and on.
Oh yeah,
and you could tell he's loving it. You know, he left his cigar. He hadn't smoked but maybe a quarter of it, and left it, and went in. And we had to go in there and get him and just let him, like, hey man, we're leaving. I finished my 6-inch cigar and I'm ready to go. So it was amazing. And again, we don't name names because I don't want to out him or anything like that, but dude, you made my day. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I loved your enthusiasm. And I'm glad I don't ever play pool with you, because I feel like you'd shark me. I'd be out of money.
Right. Well, they were talking about that with the pool table. He was talking to the guys over there. He was like, you have a pool table, let's play pool. And they're like, no, you don't understand. Like, something happened and all the pool balls like dropped actually down below where you can't get to them, and it would take like a saw or something. He's like, he's like, let's find a hammer or something and pry that bad boy open. He was ready to just like tear that pool table apart, man, just to get to it. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, he was a character and very entertaining, and I definitely enjoyed the fact that he was able to come this year, and I hope he comes next year. So
and you know who you are. We can't wait to see you again.
Yep. I will say that same person, by the way, just to tell stories about them. I on Tuesday or on Wednesday morning, I woke up to a text message from said person's spouse who said I need to send him his ID that he forgot. What's the address of the hotel and what room do I send it to? And I'm like, oh, this is a story I gotta hear. And then like later I was like, okay, explain yourself, dude. Like what happened? And he's like, I forgot my ID and I got interrogated and like they were asking me all kinds of questions. I'm like, all right, like that's funny. Like you get interrogated for that. Arvis gets like completely like checked over by TSA, which by the way, the picture of him going through TSA, I joked about this last night with him because when he's got his arms out all the way and he's got his huge shirt on, I thought the TSA agent was being taught how to put a fitted sheet on a twin mattress because it just looked like that. It was hilarious. But I digress.
For anybody who hasn't met him, Arvis is 7'4".
Yes, 7'4",
7'4", and that's without the afro. So there's some added height to that as well.
And wears a size like 5XL shirt because he's so tall. So
5 or 6, I can't remember. And he was just like, I got my big shirt, and I'm like, yeah, I could like wear that like a hoodie or a sheet, man. That's big for me, and I'm a big fella.
The like three of us, cool. If we like get into an argument, we just like, all right, everybody in the shirt, hug.
Everybody in the get along shirt. We don't have one big enough. Oh, Arvis.
Oh, yes, we do. Don't you worry. Each of you put your head through that armhole, you put your thread through that armhole, and you get the actual head hole. Okay.
That'd be great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Wednesday was definitely a lot of fun, just enjoying the cigar shop.
And we went to the Pilot Project, which is the brewery where the brewery tour ended, and we all ate there. And I got to watch a man among men drink a pickle beer.
Oh,
that's one of their specials at this place. And they actually have a pickle dressed up with a mug of beer, and it says, you'll relish another one. And I'm like, all right, okay, yeah. But yeah, our own vice president, Keith Nagel, ordered and happily drank a pickle beer.
See, I didn't realize that was there. I would have probably drank one too. So.
Oh, no. It smelled like a pickle. It tasted like a pickle. I'm like, no, man, just go eat a pickle. This is disgusting. Pickles, I'm sorry. In our modern age of refrigeration, no one should have to pickle anything. Okay?
I have a pickle beer. We have a pickle beer at my brewery. So, I mean,
you shouldn't say that out loud.
That's the truth. We do. Actually, that's really popular here in Cincinnati. Like Urban Artifact has a very famous pickle beer. So.
We were checking out at the store here in Stevens Point, and one of my kids said, hey, Dad, you want a pickle? And I went, never in my life do I want a pickle. And why would you ask me that question? And in the impulse buy with all the gum and candy and everything, they sell a big plastic wrapped big pickle, and you can get a big pickle right there.
A packet, single packaged Moby Dill, probably something along those lines.
Something like that. And I'm out. We're not even shopping there anymore. You people are wrong. But after that, I went up and had to work on the AV, all those projectors and everything that you brought. We had to run them and test them, make sure they were ready for the next day and all that. But people did go out to karaoke that night.
Oh, I heard about that.
I was really hoping I could go do. So I just wanted to mention it so that people know it did happen. And it is something we try to do every year. And
that's starting to become very popular, is going to karaoke. So that's cool.
A day of brewery hops and beer, and what else are you going to do?
Right. Well, I was a little bummed. I will say, though, I was a little bummed that I could not find a place that was like a barcade where they actually had like arcade games and a bar type of deal. Like I never came across a place like that. We had a place like that in Orlando, That was a blast because it was this like you just walk up to any game as long as you had a drink in your hand and play. And I didn't see anything
Mhm.
like that in Milwaukee. I was a little bummed by that, but that's okay.
I'm
You
sure
know,
they exist.
it's probably because of
'Cause-
bar dice. I think bar dice probably takes over, is what it is. um, so yeah, so Wednesday, kind of just finished. I think I just finished up the night just hanging out with guys. Oh, you
Mhm.
know what? Yeah, Wednesday was just very low key. Thursday though, so woke up Thursday morning, and did the 5K,
Mhm.
which doing an inaugural 5K. By the way, Kyle Denny, hands down, big claps and everything. Like, did a great job with it. He had it mapped out really well. I think we all had our own little hiccups while we ran it in different ways, but we
Mhm.
all made it to the finish line, so that was a lot of fun. Um, but what a great time with a small group of guys just running through the city for the morning, and then two to show up at the park where we were cleaning up, and to have Channel 58, local
Mhm.
CBS station there, to interview both JHG and Greg Clapp about what
Right.
we were doing in the city. Truly, like, as somebody who has wanted to see this organization get the notoriety that it so deserves, um,
Mhm.
the amount of media coverage that we had this year was like huge compared to any other year. I mean, there was just it felt like people knew we were in their city and they wanted to know why and what we
Mhm.
were doing, and it just it was so great to feel that, like, I guess specialness. I don't know what it is exactly, but it was like, man, people are gonna know that, like, we came here and did good, along with the fact that we were here for a career building convention as well. And
Mhm.
that was really,
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. And we got two segments from them. We got one live and then one they recorded and edited later and played that evening. And then we got WPR to come out, NPR's local station and all that. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Very good coverage on all of it. So, but I didn't run. I didn't clean up the park. I didn't go to the photo tour, none of that. I went to Gary Gygax's house and I played
Yeah.
D&D at his table or in his house and ate his pizza that he'd ordered. And it was amazing. But I will tell you, the funniest part was we stopped on the way out to grab snacks. Now, this is a gaming thing. If you're going to play D&D, you have snacks. It used to be like Doritos and Mountain Dew. I don't do that anymore. Mine
Did
was
you
more
stop
like,
at the Cheese Castle?
no, it's just it was a Piggly Wiggly. And we
Okay.
go into the pit, and it was well made. It was a well done Piggly Wiggly. I was like, high dollar. It was impressive. And they have alcoholic ice cream
Oh,
in front of
okay.
their like beer and they sell wine and beer and vodka and all that stuff. And there's a little cooler and it's called Proof and a little red cooler. And I had two guys standing there pointing at it. And I'm like, what is that? And they go, I think it's alcoholic ice cream. And a little pint of ice cream had about as much alcohol as a beer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, what? I mean, does it? I almost bought some, but I really didn't want to,
Oh, it's
I didn't
so
want to risk
good.
it. But man, it sounded amazing. And of course, I've never heard of this. I don't really drink enough, obviously. But in Wisconsin, I thought this is amazing. This is exactly what we need is more alcohol to sound in our ice cream. It was great. But we stopped for snacks and that was amazing. We signed the guest book. And for all my fellow geeks out there, we did sign their guest book with our actual names and our character names,
Yes,
which was
sir.
very cool. And then we got pizza, like I said, from Next Door Pub and Pizzeria, which is where he used to order it. And we stayed there playing. We played till like 4:30. We went to see his a plaque they've got in the park for him, and a couple of guys rolled their dice on it and asked him to bless their dice so that it'll roll better in the future. And got some pictures with it, and then went back for Convention Eve.
Hey,
You know,
by the way, so real quick, do you know what happened later on that evening at Gary Gygax's house?
no,
No. So after convention eve and everything, I guess, like, you guys were supposed to have brought back like t-shirts for Mick and Shannon or something like that. I don't know exactly what the deal
I didn't
was.
know that, but
I
yeah,
don't know.
okay.
Matt Strain was involved in it, but I at one point Matt and Shannon were talking about something or whatever, and all of a sudden Matt's like, "Let me just call her and see," and like called the lady that I was at the house. I was like,
Yolanda.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like, hey, we forgot to grab a couple of things. And she was like, oh yeah, come on back out. It's okay. And so like Matt and Shannon jumped in the van that Shannon and Mick had brought and went back out to Gary's house and got the shirts and something else. I forget what it was, but they also came back with more of the pizza.
All right. All right.
I think they
Yeah.
took it up to the game room or something upstairs.
It was good stuff. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you can't just use his first name. You have to say his full name, Gary Gygax.
Gary
I don't know
Gygax.
if
I'm
you,
so
yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Hey,
It's okay. First time's free.
it's okay. My apologies.
After that, there's a penalty.
I don't have a D20 dice to roll whether or not I get a die or not, or how many hit points I get to take. But that's okay.
So Convention Eve, though, was at 3rd Street Market Hall. And man, I love that place. That is just the coolest place.
There's a lot going on there. Yeah.
You know, it was awesome. I loved it.
It was good. Definitely lots of good food. That was fun because we took the first timers over there and had the meeting actually over there. And it was nice to just have that moment with them. And then also too, on top of that, it was really awesome to just be able to bless them with being the first guys to go to the bar and get their drinks, which huge thank you to John Francis, who
absolutely
couldn't be there but wanted to be represented and basically put forth a bit of the bar tab that I feel like it covered definitely all of the first timers and probably a few others before it finally got shut down. But truthfully, like, what a great just blessing, honestly, to those guys.
Truly.
And just that one other element that brings in the brotherhood of fatherhood. And so so thank you, John, for just being a great guy and just a great great supporter of the organization.
You're the man.
Yeah,
truly love you. Thank you.
So we had Convention Eve and everybody was enjoying it. We all had $15 gift cards to go get whatever food we wanted. And man, there were so many choices. I mean, everything from buffalo wings to sushi to burrito bowls and sausage and hot dogs and ramen and just all kinds of things to eat. So everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves and getting to try different things. And that ended, and then things kicked off with the beer share for the first beer share. And boy, oh boy, I mean, just coming out of the gate, like I walked up to that beer share, holy cow, like there was so much there. I was there prior to it being open too, because I'm a wuss, and I was so dead at the like I left Convention Eve at like 8:30, went back to my hotel room, laid there, fell asleep probably by 9:30, and woke up at 11 when Charlie came back from the beer share, and he was like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a shower and actually go to bed." So I had the full
I'm fine, leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't really had anything to drink. I'm just exhausted. So yeah. 5K took it out of me.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be up until," I'm like, no, I might make it to open and I might come see you, but if I'm there at 10, I must have gotten drunk and passed out, because there's no way. And I did not, in fact, get drunk at any point and pass out, but I had one pear cider, and I think it was a 6%, so it was a good bit of alcohol-ish, and I was like, a little sour. That was fine. I liked it. That was good. It was one of the ones that were just like extras of, you're like giving them away. It wasn't any tasters.
Right.
And that was it. I was done. I mellowed out like immediately and went, wow, I am very tired. I'm going to go to bed. And I bet it was maybe 9:15 or 9:30 at the most. I'm like, yeah, that's too late for the old man. We got to go downstairs now.
Them youngins, they can handle being up late.
That's
and
right.
doing
Them party
crazy
boys. Man, they're partying.
The rest of us, we're done.
Yep.
So, but I think we should probably stop there. I think
it's a great idea.
I think talking about convention eve and the Thursday night beer share is definitely a good place to stop. I will say this: before the beer share got started at Milwaukee, the amount of funds that they had raised just in online auctions pretty much matched what they brought in last year. And I just, to start things off, like big high fives, and just like they worked their butts, like that committee worked their butts off. And we'll talk more about how everything ended for that. But I think in a lot of ways, those guys had no clue what they were in for by the end of it all.
Yeah.
And the generosity of some of these guys that were involved in purchasing things. I got to experience one of those, and we'll talk about that next time. But yeah, man, like I'm so pumped for next year because of what they were able to accomplish. And yeah, I mean, it was just a good, those first few days, man, they were great.
Yeah, their generosity really hit me personally, and I'm going to cry about it next week when we record this next episode. It was really, yeah, they're good guys, and
no, definitely.
Sorry,
I tell you, we're gonna get you sponsored by. We're gonna get you sponsored by Kleenex, man. That's what they're going to do. I love you. Anyway, all right. Well, we will be back next time. We'll continue our conversation about what took place at the convention, and if there's things you want to share about the convention, please put comment on the different posts that we've got going. I will say, not this episode, but next episode, we will put in to have the question or whatever it's going to be to do a giveaway for the book that I have extras of from a specific author that we had on previously. So, but we'll wait till next time for that. So until then, have a great one, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.